Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
All right. What's up, everybody listening to The Pint? It's me, John, and tonight Lloyd has bailed out. He said, I'm not doing this episode with you. I've got Amanda Stewart with me. Amanda, wife of Rob Stewart. If you're saying, who's Rob Stewart, you know him as Stu. Amanda, what's going on? How are you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, wife of Stu.
Wife of Stu. I think a lot of people are like, when I say Robert Stewart, they're like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Because he is just Stu. I like the hair purple.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. I like that very much. Here's what we're doing tonight. A couple months ago, Lloyd and I started a new series of shows where I take the Billboard year-end top 10 singles, and we go through each of them, and then at the end we talk about our least favorite and two favorite. We did 1984, so Lloyd at that point was probably about 37 years old. I was 9. It was chock full of music of Lloyd's era and my era as well. And on that episode, I said, the next one we do, because that was the year Lloyd graduated high school in reality, he was 18. I said, let's do my year. I graduated in 93. So we thought, okay, this will be fun. I come up with the list of songs. I sent it to Lloyd, and he's like, these songs all fucking suck. Like, music has greatly changed in the 9 years between our graduation. And I knew he was dreading it. So I said, look, I could find somebody to do this, right? I could find somebody to do this. Do you want to bitch out, Lloyd? And he said, I'm going to bitch out in this episode. And we have been planning on and I'm not going to say what it is because it's still happening, but a very long gestating episode, to have Amanda on anyways. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have Amanda on this, because I think it'll be an interesting conversation. I want to ask you right off the bat. I won't ask you age if you don't want to say it, but 93. Like, is that a time for you that you remember fondly?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was 12.
You were 12. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm an old guy. I go by the old adage of not asking women their age, especially on a podcast. So you were 12 years old. So you were right there, like probably like getting into music at that time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This list is pretty much chock full of like R&B and pop, music. Was that your thing?
Yes. 100%. Yeah. I grew up, and you will not know what this is, but I grew up in Fayette County, which is very rural, literally on a farm, like a real farm with cows and the whole nine. And everybody around me listened to country, and I hated country.
Good for you. I hate country too. So you don't make Stu take you to see, like, I don't know, like all on Instagram and stuff. I always see like women love to go see, like, I don't know what, Jess Aldean or I don't know, Jason Aldean or some shit.
No, not at all.
It seems like country music of today's day and age is more like watered down rock more, with hot guys and tight jeans. So you were into like pop stuff back in 93 when you were 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I think this list might be interesting. Again, at the very end of the list, we're going to go through what song you like the least and your number 2 and number 1. Before we start the list, I want to say on the last episode, I explained to everybody that the rules for the Billboard top 100 or top 10 are super fucking confusing. And we kind of went through the rules. Well, here's something I didn't know even doing this until this episode. On the last episode, all 10 songs hit number 1 at a point. They all hit number 1.
Okay.
On this list, there's multiple songs that never peaked past number 2. So my thought was the Billboard top 10 all had to be number 1s at one point, and they do not. So here's what I'm going to tell the listeners. Just fucking relax. I can't give you the rules. I tried looking it up. I read the Wikipedia on it, and it is so confusing as to how they change like, like what they rate it by. And now that they're streaming, that's a whole, so just fucking calm down. I will tell you whether it hit number 1 or not, but if it's a number 2, it's a number 2. All right. So let's get right into this.
Okay.
Let's get to number 10. All right. Number 10 is a song called Informer by Snow. And you can hear a clip of that right here. So on August 20th of 1992, Snow released his album 12 Inches of Snow. That's the name of the album, Amanda. He's a Toronto-based rapper, young guy growing up. He was into like classic rock and stuff, but in Toronto there was a large Jamaican community, and they moved into the housing area that he lived in, and he ended up kind of getting a lot of reggae and rap influences through that. Now, everybody knows that Vanilla Ice's real name is Rob Van Winkle, which is like the whitest name on earth. Well, hold on. Snow's might be whiter. Snow's real name, Amanda, is Darren Kenneth O'Brien.
Oh, yeah.
That just goes from white to whiter to whitest to Irish whitest. The song Informer actually does have some significant, meaning to him. He had seen a stabbing in 1988 at a bar, and he went to jail. And the reason he went to jail is because he would not say who did it. He knew who did it. He would not say who did it. So at the very least, Snow believes in the snitches get stitches rule. 7 weeks consecutively at number 1 in 1993. Amanda, generally, are you a fan of like the fast lyriced, almost unintelligible rap song that is Informer?
I am. I mean, like I said, I really like pop music and stuff. And when I was listening to this list, because I had Rob put together a playlist for me of the songs, I was like, put a Spotify playlist together for me so I could listen to them. And I'm also weird. Like, I remember music like an idiot. But anyway, I was listening to this, like, I remember at the time I was working part-time at like my aunt's pet store. And like my uncle was driving me there and my cousins were next to me in the car and we're just like, Nicky boom boom bam. I didn't know any of the words, like none of the real words back then. But like to this day, like I love like the real fast, like trying to memorize those lyrics, man.
Right. Well, don't feel bad. I don't think anybody knows the real words to Informer. In one of the articles I read about Informer, they said like part of its popularity was like the idea that it's like, it might not be real words at all. It is, but like, licky boom boom down and all that stuff. So very odd, but yeah, 7 weeks at number 1. So that's the first song. For me personally, I remember the song. I almost more remember Jim Carrey doing the parody on In Living Color. If you've never seen that.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where he essentially is making fun of him and everything. Snow, even before the 88 getting sent to jail thing, did jail time in like 87 for other stuff. So he was definitely not the most upstanding citizen, but apparently from what I've read, he's turned it all around. And in like 2010 or 11, I wrote it down, but on my other list, I had 2 lists. Daddy Yankee did a song that is essentially, and it has Snow on it. It's essentially kind of like a reggaeton remake of Informer. So very interesting. All right. So that's Informer. That's the number 10 of that year. Number 9, Rex and Effects Rump Shaker. We'll listen to a clip of that right now.
Check baby one. It's called the Rump Shaker. The beach is like sweeter than candy. I'm feeling manly and your shaker's coming in handy. Slide on my claws from New York down by your Virginia.
So on November 24th of 1992, Rex and Effects released their first album, Hard or Smooth. Another sexual title. 12 Inches of Snow, Hard or Smooth. Are any of these working for you yet, Amanda? Are these album titles?
That's it. I mean, Hard or Smooth. Come
Hard
on.
or Smooth.
I mean, ideally both, but
yeah.
Hey, you name your album what you name your album.
It almost sounds like an ice cream choice, like hard or smooth. Like, what do you want? You want soft serve? This song is probably pretty famous because Teddy Riley does a bit on this, and he produced this. Teddy Riley was a big producer at the time. And his verse in this song was written by a very young Pharrell Williams from the Neptunes and NERD. The sax sample in this song is from a song called Darkest Light. The drum sample is from a song called Midnight Theme. And the actual two members of Rex and Effects were two rappers, Akil Davidson and Markel Riley. Markel Riley is Teddy Riley's brother, and that's how Teddy Riley became involved in this. This is one of the songs that only got to number 2.
Okay.
For me personally, I remember this song. I was a senior in high school. My one friend, I mostly listen to rock or hard rock. My one friend, Dave, was a big R&B and rap guy. And I remember when this song came out, I remember we used to go out like Friday and Saturday nights, just being fucking high school kids. And I remember, even though I didn't listen to a ton of music like this, I remember liking like the beat in this. And if I remember correctly, the video is all girls in bikinis. So
I don't remember the video. I 100% know the song and remembered the song. Like, there's nothing on this list where I was like, oh, I don't know this. But yeah, it's this is a very fun song. And I don't know. I'm not like a music trivia person. So I don't know if this came out around the same time as the Baby Got Backs and the
same year.
Same year. Okay. So it was a very rump shaking year, apparently. And I was far too young to understand really what twerking was or how appealing asses were. But hey,
I don't think twerking was a thing then, or at least it wasn't named.
I don't know if it was named, and I just wasn't aware of it because it certainly wasn't like the culture I grew up in. But yeah, it was not something I was aware of.
So you never heard the song and said to yourself, hard or smooth? You never. No. Okay. All right. This is a fun song. I will give it that. I think it's a fun song.
There is something with this song, and no one ever knows what I'm talking about. But in the same time period, there was this show on Nickelodeon, and it was called Roundhouse. No one ever knows. If you know what this is, people who listen to this podcast validate me that this was real. And they did, and it was like a sketch comedy parody show for kids, right? So they did a parody of this song, and it was about dogs and cats.
Okay, no.
I don't know. It was like all I want to do is bark, 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 or something like that. I just remember this very vividly.
I am of the generation so I was 17 or 18 when this came out. For me, Nickelodeon, I was right at the cusp of Nickelodeon when I was a kid. What was that show with everybody getting slimed? You can't do that on television. You can't do that
on television.
That was like the only thing on Nickelodeon when I was a kid. Like there was other stuff, but that was like the big thing. And then like right to the time where I got older, there was like the Adventures of Pete and Pete and stuff, which I never got into because they were like just younger than me. Yeah. So, but all I want to do is bark, bark, bark and meow, meow. Is that it? Or
it might have been, I can't remember. I just remember it was like, oh, you know what? I think it was all I want to do is hiss, hiss, hiss and a scratch, scratch because she's a cat. Like,
all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think most of our audience leans older, but there's going to be a couple people out there going, I know exactly what you're talking about, Amanda.
Someone has to know.
All right, number 8. We'll get right into it. It's Mariah Carey with Dream Lover. Check it out right here. August 31st of 1993, Mariah Carey released her third album, Music Box. This is where her career started to move from like the R&B of her first couple albums, like Emotions and Vision of Love.
Yeah.
To the hip-hoppy stuff.
And yeah.
Right? This was 8 weeks at number 1, so this one definitely hit number 1. This one reminds me of the summer of the year I graduated high school because this was everywhere. And the other reason it reminds me is, and when my wife listens to this, she'll laugh at me, but like I loved Mariah Carey. I was in love with Mariah Carey. When I lived in my parents' house, I had a poster of Mariah Carey that I got like a Spencer Gifts. And it was her like probably around like Vision of Love time in like a slinky black dress. And so the poster is full-size poster, but she's only on the right side leaning up against something. So most of the poster is just empty space. This is serial killer shit right here. I used to like if I saw her like in a Rolling Stone or something, I would cut her picture out. If I get fucking arrested for serial killing, Amanda, you're going to be like, he said this shit to me. I used to cut pictures of her out and stuff and then like, glue it, like with a glue stick and stick it to the poster to fill the area in that like was empty.
Wow. Yeah. I'm no Snow, so I will inform on you for sure.
Okay. All right. You're gonna be the only one that could like save me from the slammer. And you're gonna be like, he said some shit about a Mariah Carey poster.
If Mariah Carey ever turns up murdered, I'm gonna be like, I know who this is.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved her. Her music, I definitely liked her more at that point. She obviously still has a massive career, and she's put out many albums since then and a lot of hits. But like, I really liked like that stuff then. Mm-hmm. And I like Dream Lover. It's got a great like little hook. There's a sample in it from a band called The Emotions, Blind Alley. So if you ever want to hear the actual version that little hook comes in from, that's where it's from. So where were you at with Mariah Carey and Dream Lover?
Oh, I love Mariah Carey. Like drama. I'm a drama dork. I was in all the choirs and, all that shit. So
right.
Mariah Carey sings in something that is called a whistle register. I don't know if you know this.
I know she's got an incredible voice, but
when she goes up really high and she's just pushing the sound out just like through her upper register, like in the top of her throat, like all I would do was go around trying desperately to be able to sing in the whistle register. And you can't, like, you have to be Mariah Carey to do it. But
right.
Yeah. Like I love Mariah Carey.
Is the whistle register like at the end of Emotions where she starts hitting those like insane high notes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, again, as you said, not many can. Well, you obviously can hold a tune. I can't even do that. So
when she goes into this song where she's like, "Won't you please?" And like towards the end, she's like, "Won't you?" And it like she takes that up, and I don't remember if she hits it or not, but yeah, like definitely at the end of Emotions where she starts doing the trills and the runs, and it's. Yeah, I was fascinated with that.
Yeah, no, she's. I give her credit. She's pretty incredible. So, all right, so that's number 8. Let's go into number 7. It's a band called Shy, but it's not SHY. Don't fucking call them Shy. It's SHAI. If I Ever Fall in Love, and listen to a little sample right now.
Someone who I can believe, my friend. Very next time she will be my friend.
On September 1st of 1993, these guys put out their first album, self-titled Shy. They met and formed at Howard University, formed as a quartet, and they had a number 10 hit with a song called Comforter, and another one, Baby I'm Yours, but this was their highest charting hit ever, peaked at number 2. I remember this one because I remember, I think my friend Dave, the same one, loved this band, and it was different than a lot of other things because it's essentially an a cappella song, right?
Mm-hmm, it is.
Yeah. So what do you think? Are you a fan of this one? Was this one that you had ever heard before?
I absolutely had heard it, but you know what was funny is when I listened to it, if you'd have put a gun to my head and said, who sings this? I would have said Boyz II Men.
Yeah.
Like, it is not, like, I had no idea who the band was in this. I knew the song, and it was very, like, middle school dancey, slow dance.
Yeah. I like your arms up.
Slow dance, middle school.
Yeah.
But, and I recognized the song. I remembered the words to the song, and I love, like, the melody of it, but I had no idea who sang this song.
Do you generally like a cappella? You said you're a theater nerd and all that stuff, drama nerd. Do you like a cappella? Are you a fan of stuff like that?
I like it. I appreciate it, but it is not what I'm going to listen to in my car.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I am a huge fan. I'll get burned for this by some of the listeners. I'm a huge fan of the Pitch Perfect movies.
Of course, they're amazing.
Yeah, they go down, like, the first one's the greatest, and then 2 is really good, and 3 was fun but a little weird. But I really enjoy those. And years ago, when me and my wife first saw that movie, I bought my wife the CD of the soundtrack of the first film, and I fucking played it out. I'm like, I'm not that dude. Like, I didn't know, but I love that movie and I love that soundtrack. Like, I still listen to it too much. It's weird.
There was an a cappella reality show that when Rob and I first moved in together in our apartment would watch. I can't even remember.
I never saw it, but I remember what you're talking about.
I want to say the dude from Saved by the Bell was the host, and yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to number 6 that year. It is a song by a group called SWV. Do you know what SWV stands for, Amanda?
I don't. I just know it's SWMV.
That's right. That's right. I got into it. I know what you're talking about. It's Sisters with Voices. Sisters with Voices.
Okay.
Song is Weak. It came out on, the album was called It's About Time, October 27th of 1992. Let's listen to a sample of that song right now.
I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak. I lose all control. Then something takes over me.
This was originally written for the lead singer of the Gap Band. The Gap Band were a band back in the 70s and 80s. If you know the song You Dropped a Bomb on Me, that's the Gap Band. I love that song. And it was originally written for the lead singer whose name was Charlie Wilson. He didn't want to do it. So they gave it to this new trio of women, SWV. It was the third single off of their debut album. It was at number 1, but it's quick number 1, 2 weeks only. And Billboard magazine ranks it as number 72 in its top 100 girl group songs.
No.
I'll tell you right now, me and my wife have, we watch, like at night when we're like reading and stuff, we have like YouTube music playing. And, spoiler alert for later in the episode, this video is on, like, it just shows up all the time because I've listened to it so much, which is, again, it's not necessarily me, but like, I do love older pop music. And, even in the early 90s, there was still a lot of stuff I loved. Amanda, were you a fan of this song, or were you familiar with the song?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was a fun one. This one's a fun one to sing to. This one was a fun one at the roller skating rink. Yeah, this was a fun one. And this was such a good time for those girl bands that were just starting to pop up. Yeah, the R&B female girl bands that were starting to happen, because this and like TLC are very like linked in my mind, right? Yeah. Yeah,
TLC was definitely the bigger of the two groups.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're saying. This was the early 90s for R&B in total was like a very big time.
Yeah.
There's so much
I listen
going
to
on.
this music still. Like, I listen to like, I guess you just sort of get stuck on the music that you like grew up listening to, right? So like, I listen to the 90s constantly.
Yeah. Well, for you especially, like, and even me, like, even though it's two different ages, we were both in that period where it was formative, right? Like,
yeah.
I was a kid in the 80s, but a lot of my formation was in the 80s. So I love a lot of 80s music, but I was also, I turned, 14 or 15 in 1990. So yeah, I started to really pull all that stuff in too. SWV also, they had a couple other great songs. Like, what's the one they did that has the Michael Jackson hook, with Human Nature? I think it was in, I can't think of the name of the song, but they do one where they take a Michael Jackson sample and work into it. And then, Right Here, Right Now, they got some, look, SWV has some jams. Fight me over it if you're listening and you don't want to hear that from me. Here's the song in the whole list that I'm familiar with, but by name, I listened to all these before we did this, but I had to go and watch the video on YouTube to really cement it. It's Freak Me by a band called Silk, 11/17/92, November 17th of 92. Their album Lose Control came out. Here's a sample of that song. This song was co-written and co-produced by a guy that brought Silk out on the road with him as an opening act when he was touring. And he's got one of my favorite all-time R&B names, Keith Sweat.
Yeah.
Amanda, how do you feel about a gentleman with the last name of Sweat?
Sweat.
Would you have married Stu if his last name was Sweat?
I would not. I would maybe, but I certainly would have stayed Griffith.
Yeah, right. It would have just been a Amanda Griffith, and then
can't be Amanda Sweat.
Yeah, who could be other than Keith Sweat? Like that's a pretty heavy name. Covered in 1998. Let's see, by a British band called Another Level. This song, much like SWV and Weak, was number 1, but only for 2 weeks as well. This one I had to look up. I definitely do know it, but it just seems like, for me, like, you ever have that like blind spots where it's like there's something that's like popular enough to hit number 1, but like, you're like, I don't really remember that. Do you have a good memory of this song in particular?
You know, what's funny is same. Like,
Yeah.
I know, like, as soon as I heard the song, I knew it, but I have to be honest with you, like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, my dance class danced to this song. So, like, it was very fresh in my mind because we, danced to it. So I was like, oh yeah, that song. But I don't really remember, like, I knew it. And when she played it in class, I knew it, but I don't have any, like, vivid memories of this song.
All right. Yeah, I'm the same.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, seriously. I was like, when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, I know this song, but I'm pretty sure I only remember it as vividly as I do because I listened to the first, minute of it 900 times over and over again.
Yeah. If you sat me down right now and said, we're going to go over the last 5 or 6 years of popular music, you have to tell me who it is. I would not be able to pass at all. Like, I was talking to somebody, I was at a wedding a couple weeks ago, and we were discussing like music, and I told them, and this is not a lie, I'm not trying to be hip or cool. I obviously know who Taylor Swift is. Like, everybody on earth knows who Taylor Swift is.
That's very cool of you, John.
Well, no. But what I'm going to say is that I couldn't name one of her songs. The only song that I could name that someone pointed out to me was that Shake It Off song.
Yeah.
But this is maybe the biggest musical artist in the world, or very close to it. And I truly don't know. Like, people always talk about Ed Sheeran. I couldn't pick an Ed Sheeran song out if Ed Sheeran was on top of my head playing it. I just don't know much about like new music. Are you into new music?
I am. I'm into, yeah, definitely. And Rob will probably tell you, I watch like a shit ton of TikTok. So I'll hear something like a hook of something and I'll be like, that's an interesting song. So I try to like listen to the full version of the song. So yeah, I still make him listen to, Top 40 station on Pandora occasionally because I'm like, I want to hear what's new because we will only listen to like 90s, early 2000s stuff on our own. So I force him to listen to the new stuff.
Yeah, I'm just terrible with it. Like, I know, I hear all these names and I know who these people are, but like Megan Thee Stallion, no idea. No idea. I know who Cardi B is. I know who Cardi B is because of her the title of her song, but like, the you know what I'm talking about. But like, I don't know if I've ever heard that song. So I'm very like, I would be in the same boat. Like, I understood why Lloyd was reticent to do this because it wasn't his music. But if I was on someone else's podcast and they said, we're going to talk about the hits of like 2018 to 2023, I'd be like, I gotta go. No offense, I can't add anything to it.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I like current music. I try to stay up to it. But you know what's with this song, Freak Me, right? What I'm hearing when I hear that song is I want to get freaky with you. So like, even when I saw the name of this song, I was like, I have no idea what this song is. Like, and then you hear the song and you're like, oh, that's not what I would think that song is.
Yeah. I think, is this a song in the beginning? It's like, Freak Me, Baby. Is that right? Yeah. So yeah, Freak Me is in there, but then the chorus is I want to get freaky with you. It's all over the fucking place. All right. So that's number 5 for that year. Number 4 in 1993 on the Billboard top 10 singles at the end of the year. That's the Way Love Goes by Janet Jackson. The album Janet came out on May 18th of 1993. Let's listen to a bit of that song right now. First thing that annoyed me about this song, which the song doesn't really annoy me, is I watched the video of a lot of these songs to listen to the music. I know this song, but I wanted to watch it. And in the video, it starts with Janet Jackson in an apartment with all of her super hot friends, and they're just like having like a girls' day. And J-Lo is one of her friends, and I fucking hate J-Lo. I truly there's not many, like, I'll ask you in a second. There's not a lot of celebrities that I really don't like. I do not like J-Lo at all. I don't think she's super attractive. I don't think she's a good actress. Her music does nothing for me. I don't get the appeal of her, but like in the video, it's before she was a star and she's playing Janet's friend and she's getting all like, head movie and like doing the kind of like almost like the Latina accent and everything. And I'm like, fuck, this song is ruined for me because I hate J-Lo. Is there a celebrity that you just don't like an actor or actress that you're like, ugh?
I guarantee I do. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but And I don't even know that I think she's a bad actor, but everybody loves Florence Pugh, including my husband, thinks, oh, she's so hot. She's so hot. And like, look, I'm attracted to women. I will fucking say if a woman is hot. I have no qualms about that. She has like the fucking poutiest, awfulest face, in my opinion. Just this, like, you can't see this is not a visual medium. It's just, like, I hate it. I hate her face.
Hold on, let me get close to the microphone. Amanda just made a lemon face. Well, look, obviously I don't want to start anything with you because I know you're not a fan either. I love Midsommar. I love that movie, but I kind of do agree. I don't get the hype on her.
No.
I do kind of agree with it. She was good in Black Widow. But yeah, I think that she's got a lot of hype, but she's not J-Lo level. And the other one I don't like, I've never liked is, she's been in some stuff I've liked though, as opposed to J-Lo, who the only thing I think J-Lo's ever been in that I liked was a movie with George Clooney called Out of Sight. And that was all Clooney. Cause honestly, I'd run a train on Clooney if I had a chance. Like you said, like I can admit Clooney's
I'll admit it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll admit it too. I'll be on top of that, in that, around that all day long. I think he's hot. But the other one that has always annoyed me, is Drew Barrymore. I'm not a fan of Drew Barrymore. And now that she has that talk show and I see clips of it sometimes, I'm just like, I feel like, I don't know, there's something about her that bothers me, but I'll give her credit again, as opposed to J-Lo. I like her in The Wedding Singer. I liked her. There's been a few things I've liked her in. Yeah. I just don't, she annoys me for some reason, but J-Lo, fuck her. But let's get back to the songs. We didn't get to the song. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who were her longtime producers, co-wrote and produced this. The longest running song on the top 100 Billboard list. This is crazy. Wait till I say it. Of any Jackson. That's including Michael.
Really?
This one was number 1 for 8 weeks. I read this. I didn't dig too deep into it, but I'm going to assume that the article I read was not lying to me. But I would imagine Michael Jackson had songs that were on the number 1 for 400 weeks. You know what I mean? Because he was probably the most popular pop artist of all time. But the longest running top 100 song of any Jackson, Tito, Jermaine, all the minor Jacksons too. This was a Grammy winner for the best R&B song as well. This is like a cool kind of, almost like a 70s slow jam R&B song. What do you think about this one, Amanda?
Yeah, this song is a vibe. This song is a song that I still listen to. I've definitely danced to it. Janet Jackson, though. I mean, come on. Janet Jackson's amazing.
Oh, no, I have no problem with her.
Yeah, she's amazing. And yeah, I think this song is a total vibe. I still know all the damn words to this song.
Yeah. And also, I mean, and I have no problem with Janet Jackson, her looks at any point.
Her association with J-Lo, that is the problem.
That bothers me. But I will say in this video, she's looking pretty good too. She's
oh yeah. Janet Jackson was a full fucking snack bag. I mean, she still is, I'm sure. But Janet Jackson. And that was right at the time too. Remember the very low rise jeans was the early 90s thing, and the tiny little waists and all that.
Yeah, she was certainly, and I never had a problem with her when she was a little bit meatier. She was always a good looking woman.
She's always hot. But
this video, she is in probably her whatever you would say, maybe tightest shape. So yeah, it definitely looked great in this. But yeah, fuck J-Lo. So let's go to the number 3 song of the Billboard top 10 singles for 1993. The album was Promises and Lies, came out on July 12th of 1993. The song is Can't Help Falling in Love by UB40. Let's listen to a bit right now. This is a cover song of an Elvis song.
Yeah.
That was from Blue Hawaii. I don't know if it's from, he had an album, Blue Hawaii, and he also had a movie. I don't know if it was in the movie or on the album, but that's where it came from. It was UB40's 4th top 10 hit and their last top 10 hit. It spent 7 weeks at number 1. Let's see. Their other big hit, which is crazy, they had 2 big hits that went to number 1, I believe, was Red Red Wine, and that's a cover of a Neil Diamond song. So these guys hit it big twice on other people's songs, but that's okay. This was in a movie. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, Amanda. It's not good. I saw it in the theaters, and there's a reason I went and saw it in the theaters. called Sliver. Okay. So the movie Sliver was Sharon Stone's like first big movie after Basic Instinct. And it was like a sexual thriller with Billy Baldwin. And like it came out that summer and you knew there was going to be sex scenes and you knew obviously she was going to be naked. And I think that's why most people went and saw it. But what they forgot to do was formulate any kind of fucking good story or anything. No plot. So I went with my friends and went to see this because we, we're like, oh, Sharon Stone's naked again. And it was just fucking garbage time. But this song is probably the biggest thing that came from that movie. UB40 is a kind of like a big brass reggae pop type band.
I have a reggae vibe from that. Yeah. And it's funny that you say Red Red Wine because like I don't really like either of those songs. I don't like this song. I don't really like Red Red Wine. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. No, this song. I've never been into it. I knew it was an Elvis song originally. I remember my grandfather. Again, weird. My grandfather would listen to Elvis a lot. And I remember when this came out, like, just listening to Top 40 in the car and stuff. And he got so mad about this song.
Oh,
but, cause like, not Elvis, and.
God damn you, UB40.
Today. And if you hadn't have told me the other song UB40 sings, I never would have been able to guess one. But yeah, no, this is not my jam. I don't know why. Okay.
All right. Fair. I will not say this is not one of my jams. I enjoy this song. I just love the horns in it. And, the kind of like white guy effect, almost like Snow, a white guy affecting like this, like, what do you call it? Like a patois? Like, he's doing that whole thing. Yes. I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
Do you know who does? Cause there's like a rap breakdown in that. Is that the same singer or do they have like like, I don't know, the part where red, red wine, you make me feel so fine.
Oh, and Red, Red Wine. Yeah. No, I think that's like another guy in the band.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Red, Red Wine a lot. And I always thought that whole bit is weird because if you listen to the rap part at the end or whatever it is, it's like the monkey get choke. It's like, what? Like, are you talking about choking a monkey? What the fuck's happening in this song?
The vine broke.
Yeah. The vine broke, the monkey got choked, bum, a clot, what? Like, what happened?
Nah, it's not my vibe.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the last two, number 2 and number 1. Number 2, Whoomp, There It Is, from Tag Team, July 8th, 1993, their album, Whoomp, There It Is. I could play this one, or you could just go to any sporting event tonight and you'll probably hear it at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm going to play it right now. All right, so the two rappers in Tag Team were DC the Brain Supreme and Steve Rollin, Rolln. I might legally change my last name to that.
I'd marry a Rollin.
Would you? Yeah, way more than a sweat.
Rollin.
Yeah, I would. I would be telling everybody if you were. I'd be like, I got a friend, Amanda Rollin.
Rollin.
How do you spell that? Like Rowland? No, not Roland. Rolln, bitch, Rollin. So what was funny about this song is apparently when these guys did this is a song that like does something that like not a lot of songs do. Like it's hard for pop culture to do this. On the last episode, 84, we talked about Ghostbusters and how Who You Gonna Call became a part of like the world's vernacular.
Right.
Whoop, there it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Apparently they titled it that because in Georgia, where they were from, like the Atlanta area, it was already a saying. Like when I was reading, they were saying like people would go to a party and someone would say, well, whoop, there it is. And it was already kind of a known phrase, like regionally, but now it's fucking national. To the point, like, do you remember, like I have it written down here, there was a group called 95 South that had a song called Woot, There It Is around the same time.
No.
And the reason that they're so similar is because, like I said, it wasn't an uncommon phrase. 7 weeks, but only at number 2. It never became number 1.
Really?
Yeah, this is not a number 1.
Wow, this song is so ingrained in like society. How was it not number 1?
This is a song that I would personally describe as the kind of thing that I'm never ever going to listen to. Like I like rap music, but like this is like very like it's like good feel, good vibe rap music, and I have no problem with that. But this song in particular is not one that I would ever like put on or buy the full album of to hear the rest of their stuff. But on the same page, this song is brilliant, as I said, at a party, at a sporting event. Like, you know, there's no way if this comes blaring over the sound stage of the arena you're in,
Right.
that you're not moving to it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you feel about this song?
Oh, I love it. I mean, again, though, it's such a fun song, right? Like you immediately, if someone says, "Whoop," there it is. Like you immediately know, like that's what your brain goes to.
It's positive, right? I mean, even if you listen to it, it's not, you know,
right.
It's not a downer of a song. It's such a weird dichotomy for me because again, it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to play. But if it's on, I'm not going to go shut it off, and I'm probably going to be like moving around. You know what I mean?
There's a lyric in there, and I can't remember the exact sequence of it, but it's like party over here, party over there, something, something, shake your derriere. Yeah. And I mean, how often does derriere get to be in a song?
I don't think maybe ever. I don't think maybe ever. Yeah, you're right, derriere. All right. So that was number 2. Let's finish this list off with the number 1 song from Billboard's top 10 year-end singles of 1993. This one's got a lot of stuff going on. Whitney Houston. All right. Nobody doesn't know what this is. It's I Will Always Love You. Take a listen to it real quick.
Memories. That is all I'm taking with me.
All right. On November 17th of 1992, the Bodyguard soundtrack came out. I have never seen the Bodyguard. Have you?
Yeah.
Now I know, and I'm saying this because it's kind of put out there that it's like a chick flick kind of, but like, you know what I mean? Like almost actiony and everything. Do you like the movie or dislike the movie?
I don't super remember the movie. I remember, again, I was, like 12, maybe 13 when did it come out?
92. End of 92.
When?
November.
Yeah, so I would have been 13 by then, but yeah, like I was not supposed to watch this for some reason. I don't know. My parents were bizarre. Like I was watching Freddie and Jason, but this movie came out and there's apparently a sex scene right at the violence is totally fine. Violence, fine. Gore, blood, guts, but no sex.
Let me tell you a quick story real quick. When I was 9 years old, my dad took me to see my first ever R-rated movie in the movie theaters. 1984. It was The Terminator. The Terminator fucking murders everybody in that movie. Yeah. He murders everybody in that movie, and I was never told to look away. When Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese have sex in the motel bed, my dad literally told me to turn my head. So I couldn't see Linda Hamilton's tits, but I could watch Arnold Schwarzenegger like crush people's fucking brain stems with his hands.
Good for our development, I'm sure. But no, same. I don't know why I couldn't watch sex. I could watch all the violence in the world. So anyway, there was a sex scene at the very beginning with her in the limo, and I snuck and watched it. Like I snuck this movie, and I remember liking it. Obviously loving this fucking song, right? Like loving this song. Again, very much like Whitney Houston, or I mean like Mariah Carey. This was one of the ones where it was like, oh, I gotta learn to sing this. And like, like I couldn't because who can, obviously, but yeah.
This is right around the time where, and I'm sure you remember this because you were, probably 11 or 12 at that time, but like, do you remember when, whatever the reasons are and the politics behind it, but do you remember when we went into Desert Storm?
Yes.
Do you remember when Whitney Houston sang at the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Do you remember how like that literally seemed to be like a almost like a unifying moment for America?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Her story, like aside from this song, is so crazy how she went from being like America's sweetheart.
Oh, I know.
To what ended up happening. Bobby Brown fucked her up, man.
No, I just, this is off topic, but I just watched that movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And it's like, I was like, it got to the end and it's like, and then she died peacefully in a bathtub. And it's like, you cut a lot of years off of this because there was like a reality show that was hot garbage. There was, yeah.
Yeah. And she didn't die peacefully. I think didn't she overdose and like she sunk into the bathtub and drowned?
Yeah, I think she had a heart attack, like overdose, heart attack, drowning scenario. It was like the triple threat. Yeah.
Well, that ain't peaceful. There ain't nothing peaceful about that. All right. Okay. So The original version of this song was recorded in 1973 by Dolly Parton. Kevin Costner suggested this song to, not the Dolly Parton version. He suggested the Linda Ronstadt version, which I guess is in the late 70s, to Whitney Houston for this movie. The record company thought that like a song with an a cappella opening would bomb like greatly. Like they're like, no instrumentation. Nobody's going to listen to this. And obviously that did not happen. It spent 14 weeks at number 1. The original song that they were going to use before this was a song by a guy named Jimmy Ruffin. I think it was from the 60s, called What Becomes of the Brokenhearted. And Paul Young covered it in 1991 for Fried Green Tomatoes.
Yeah, I know that song, yeah.
Yeah, so when Whitney Houston realized that it was in that movie, at least a version of it, she went to the people making this movie and said, we can't do that again. It's only been like 2 years. So Costner, had showed her this song, and it's history, because this song, like, I was a senior in high school this year and moving into graduating, and like, you couldn't get away from this fucking song.
Oh, no, right? Yeah, like, according to the movie, the Whitney Houston movie that they just made, she was pitched this song by her management, and she was like, "Nah, I like this song." And then Kevin Costner liked the song, and then she liked the song.
Oh, so it took the white guy to like the song.
That's what the movie told me.
All right. Well, the movie also told you she died peacefully in a tub.
Yeah.
When in fact her heart exploded and then she drowned.
Yeah.
That sounds like two of the ways nobody wants to die. Like, was she also set on fire and eaten by a shark? Was that peaceful too? It sounds awful. As I said, now we're going to move into the part where we talk specifically about a couple of these songs. We're going to start off with the song that we like the least. So,
Hasta la vista, baby.
Let's get into that. Amanda, what song on this list do you just care for the very least of all of them?
It is definitely the Elvis cover, the Elvis cover. That, like I said, that was never my jam. I responded positively to all these songs, but yeah, that one was just never it for me.
Never did.
I Can't Help Falling in Love. Yeah, that was my least favorite.
UB40 is like, fuck her. Come on. This is why it was their last number, like top single. It's because people like you, Amanda, you didn't like it enough.
Yeah, I was very influential back then.
You were 13 years old, living in what'd you say, Fayette County?
Fayette County.
Fayette County, out in the farm. So I'll go with mine. I think it's not only because it is the least known to me, but like Freak Me. It just, I don't know. It's an R&B song. It's fine. And there are other songs that I'm not a bigger fan of. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Informer, but Informer's more memorable, right? It's its own song. Freak Me, it just sounds like almost like cookie cutter, like 90s R&B song. Like, there's a lot of great 90s R&B songs, but like Freak Me sounds almost like it came off of like a production wheel of some sort. It doesn't really do it for me. All right.
It's funny as you said that, and it was like, I'm exactly the same. That was going to be my next one. It just, yeah, again, it's like, I know the song. I don't know if I know the song because I'm remembering it from back then or if I'm remembering it from like later in life. But yeah, that's definitely not high on the list.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the ones we like the most.
That's what I'm talking about.
We'll start with our number 2. Amanda, what was the second song that you like the most on this list?
Oh, it's so hard because it's definitely a tie between Janet and Whitney, right? Like, but I will say I probably tip a little more towards I Will Always Love You being my second favorite, and then I'll just jump ahead to Janet being my first favorite. But those two, they're very, very closely tied in my heart.
So kind of like the queens of R&B. So you've got Whitney and you've got Janet. You left Mariah back there, by the way, but that's okay.
I did. But no, between the top two, it's going to be one of those.
Later on tonight, for what you just did to Mariah Carey, I'm going to cut a picture of her out, and then I'm going to take a picture of you and cross your eyes out like a fucking psychopath. I'm going to throw some darts at it as I'm putting lipstick on and just like staring in the mirror.
I'm just going to mail you pictures of J-Lo every week.
You should. If you want to light my fucking my ire. All right, I'll do my number 2 and my number 1. My number 2 is Weak by SWV. I'm not kidding when I tell you that's my jam. I just have always liked that song. It's like you said, it's a good girl group song, good R&B song. And again, I've always been a fan of that song. My number one is your least favorite. It's UB40. It's, yeah, I absolutely love that. Like there's, I know you know this feeling, right? Like that feeling that when a song you don't hear much comes on and you just want anybody, like if you're in the car, you're driving and you and Stu are having a conversation and then the J-Lo, or I'm sorry, the Janet Jackson song comes on. Are you like me where you're just like, shut up.
Oh, yeah. Rob and I sing in the car constantly.
Yeah. Rob, listen, this is a very important story about your podcast. I want to hear it, but for 4 minutes, shut the fuck up. That's how I feel when I hear like the opening of Can't Help Falling in Love. Like, just to kind of like, the little wise man, and then like like the horns come in, and I'm like
horns. I know.
Okay, all right. I like the horns, that's for sure. But yeah, so that's my favorite. I like the fact that we went opposites on a favorite and a least favorite. So Amanda, this has been an awesome time. I know that we're going to keep doing these episodes, and I know that there's going to be ones that Lloyd is not going to want to do. I'm going to just invite you back for everyone that he does not want to do.
In. I love music, and like my friends make fun of me because I know all the songs. Like my friend literally will look at me and goes, "I know you know all the songs." Like I know all the songs.
Right.
I know the 70s rock. I don't know the country songs. I really don't. I don't know the country songs at all. But if it was like rock or pop or R&B or opera or Broadway, I know it.
Okay, we probably won't be hitting the opera or Broadway, but if I ever do, I know who I'm coming to.
That's it, yeah.
But in all seriousness, I know that I have over on our Pint Insider Patreon I asked a couple of the patrons, like, what year did you graduate? We'll do that as well. And a lot of them were in the 90s, and I have a feeling Lloyd's also going to say, fuck that. So seriously, I want you back on to do these.
Sounds good. If you do 99, that was my graduation year. So
well, then let's just do 99. Me and you, that will be one of the next ones. Me and you will do 99.
All right.
I'll talk to Manster, see if he wants to jump in with us. But if he says no, we'll just do this again. It was nice.
Sounds good.
All right. So if you're out there and you're listening, you know where to find us at the Pint Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Every podcatcher out there. Also, do me a favor and go and listen to Amanda's husband, Stu, my good friend, his show, The Stu World Order. Great show. Comes out on every date that ends in a 2. Stu on the 2s. It's a brilliant idea.
No, it's such a terrible name. Don't even humor
I like that. It's Stu on the 2s.
He was so proud of himself with that, too. And I was like, that's dumb.
If you have been listening to the show, and if you want to check out our Patreon, go to Patreon/thepint. Very recently, we always had one tier, $2.50. You get all kinds of extra episodes and all kinds of voting abilities for episodes we're going to do. I just recently added a $4 tier. What we're going to be doing with that is we're going to be taking all the live streams that we normally would do on Facebook and stuff, like the ones with Stu and Larry, where we do Nightmare on Elm Street and we did Friday the 13th, and we're just moving those over to the Patreon. So if you want to upgrade, a lot of the patrons did, and I appreciate all of you for doing that. But if you want to check it out, again, go to Patreon/thepint, and you could pick either the $2.50, the Pint Insider level, or the one with the live streams called the Pint Insider : I like to watch. So that's the name of the 2 different levels. But again, thank you so much, Amanda, for being here.
Yeah.
This was great fun. And we are going to do 99 for sure.
All right.
So check us out. Until next time, I will say the words, see ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!